Someone said that there is a ghost in the machine, culturally speaking, and when it dies, the culture dies. I made a few notes about what that ghost is, and I want to read that and talk about it. First of all, meaning, the meaning of our life, the meaning of the culture itself, cultural coherence. Now, we understand that the system hangs together because we mostly believe in it. And when it starts to fracture, that's because the ghost is sick. Um, any culture operates to a certain extent on trust. And when we begin to lose trust with everything, and especially the people in authority, we're in trouble. We have a cultural story, we have a shared narrative that leads us forward, and we're living as people in the story, and we understand the story and what it is. And when the story dies, we're in trouble. We 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 don't know what to do. We don't know who we are. So I think that's a pretty good portrait of where we are now in the world, and especially Americans. I'm not sure I could sit here and tell you or make a list of why this is happening. There are pressures from every side, and it looks to me like one of the big pressures on our culture as Americans is the people with money don't normally care about the culture itself. They're out for themselves. And they may talk a good game about being socially conscious and have a conscience, but it's very often not true. And they use that money to subvert the democratic systems because those systems, including the Constitution and the way it's written, are in their way. And they don't want people educated about it. They don't want people that they are sweeping up in their campaign to get anyone of the wrong skin color or the wrong national origins, the wrong language, the wrong something, and um, and deny them the rights that are written right into the Constitution. And every trained judge really should know them, and most of them do. But if you are teaching people what their actual rights are, you could be arrested and thrown in jail. The the people who are currently in power don't want you to know your rights. They don't want you to know your rights as Americans. Why? What's going on? Um, it looks a little bit like hysteria. It looks like this is a manufactured crisis, but maybe it's coming after a long time of corrupting the psychology of enough people so they can put a criminal in not just one, but many criminals into positions of power. I know they do this thinking it'll never boomerang onto them, but it often does. And in the 30s, when the Germans elected democratically Hitler, who was severely psychologically damaged, to a position of power, they were in big trouble then. This could happen in America. And what we need to realize is it's a psychological problem, it's a spiritual problem, as well as a cultural problem. Now, cultures live and die just like any organism. The culture that we belong to, with its fractured relationships, its sense of isolation from one human being to another, its loss of trust, its anger, its rage about how people have to live is a huge red flag. It's a huge danger for the culture itself. And I think that's what we're facing. The next step is going to be rebuilding a better culture. For that, we need people of heart, we need people of vision, we need people who actually are capable of understanding complex systems, but also have compassion. And those people are not normally visible and working at high levels of governance. But what I'm hoping is they're going to suddenly appear, they will suddenly arise, because what happens to some of us is that when we are challenged by everything falling apart, we find something at a deeper level in ourselves that creates coherence, that creates a new way, a new path. These are the people that should start to appear now, and I think there are some. So I'm not as pessimistic as some people are, in spite of what's happening. But we all need to be thinking creatively, keeping our hearts whole, and still be compassionate in spite of the fact that there's so many things to be angry about, so many things to be outraged about. We have to keep our humanity and go forth and create a new path. That's something I think we all need to think about.